Chương trình này được bảo trợ bởi
Family Joy, tổ ấm y tế của mọi gia đình, 714 898 0765.
Hi, welcome to the OC Health and Education Show on Little Saigon TV. I am your host, Julie Yip. To us, OC stands for our community because we believe that our community thrives when we come together. Our show is dedicated to educating, inspiring our community, and helping the underserved community. Today on our show, we have some few special guests to talk about how to empower our community and how to come together. Julie Yip kính chào quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV trong chương trình Kiến thức, y khoa, gia đình và xã hội. Hôm nay Julie có thời gian mời được ba bạn hôm nay nói về làm sao mình cộng đồng của mình đoàn kết nhau về giúp về cái Stop Asian Hate. Thank you so much everybody for coming here. I would like to introduce my first guest here, Hi. Sean Lee from the Purist Group.
Hi. Hi Julie, thanks for the invite.
Oh, thank you so much, Sean, for being here. And our next guest is Rob. Rob, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm from the car customization world. The shop in Los Angeles called Platinum Motorsport in West Los Angeles. And thank you for inviting me onto the show to talk about our drive that's coming up, which we'll get into more later on, I guess.
Okay,
right?
Well, thank you so much, Rob. And our last but not least, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us tonight. It's really an honor to be able to talk about the things that we need to talk about. And I'm based in Los Angeles, California, and I'm one of the co-founders for an organization called Hate is a Virus.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you again for taking your time to drive from LA and going through the LA traffic to get to Orange County. And it's such an honor to have you guys here. I know it's the first time for us to all kind of sit in one space and to come together. Sean, tell us a little bit about who you are and why are you part of this event?
So my name is Sean Lee. I'm founder of the Purist Group. And the Purist Group, this is our 10th year since Purist Group's inception, which we're going to do our 10th anniversary events at the end of the year, okay. Which you joining us many, many times. Purist Group was a collective of many, many petrol heads, people who love cars, motorcycles, and in general, and we linked up together and trying to focus on doing more charity for the community. So every year we do a toy drive, has 8,000 to 10,000 people coming in. We collect about 20,000 to 25,000 toys, and we send it to the kids ourselves. Then on top of that, we have a back to school event that help the kids go back to school with more confidence. Every year we send out about 4,000 to 5,000 backpacks, and to have the kids, underprivileged kids, go back to school with a little bit more confidence within themselves. And on top of that, we have events that help the homeless, event helps cats and dogs, and then we have events that actually help. Sometimes we do disaster relief. We did a Texas hurricane relief, sending down supplies down to Texas to help to ease everybody's pain and problems.
Well, Sean, I always respect your motto about do good.
Thank you.
I appreciate for doing that. So, Rob, can you top that?
No. I mean, it's you can't top that. I mean, I'm just a car person. I've always loved cars. It's got me into a lot of trouble back in the day in like high school and stuff like that. But it's something where I've just kept with it. My love of cars brought me to where I am now. I was able to meet Sean through people that I had heard about Sean. Sean's legendary, right? I mean, I always heard about this person that does all kinds of charity work and so on and so forth, doing it with nothing to get in return, right? Just literally doing good. And, through the years, I did this car drive called Quick Strike. And it was literally started with a few friends on a Saturday morning. We just wanted to go for a drive, and it was a lot of fun. And we just drive from point A to point B. And as we started doing, the crowds got larger and larger, so we just made it into an actual drive. And in hearing about Sean and Purist Group and what they do, anytime he has a charity event or anything like that, when we hear about it, we always want to participate to put in our good deeds, I guess, And so that's kind of what it is.
Well, I appreciate you, Rob. I think this partnership and the friendship that we're all coming together today has really mean a lot to us.
Thank you.
And Michelle, tell us a little bit more about you and what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I don't know anything about cars, so I think this is a really great opportunity for me to start learning. But like you said, it's a really great way for us to kind of come together, you know, and really unite on that front, especially with everything that's been going on. And so Hate is a Virus really started off as a grassroots movement. We started to see a rise in anti-Asian hate crimes early in the pandemic, so around February, March of last year. And what initially started off as a local food crawl to support Asian-owned small restaurants here in Los Angeles quickly grew to a grassroots movement via social media once lockdown happened. So we basically reached out to our network. We told them what our mission was, to raise awareness that we can have these conversations around what is going on in our community. And in a matter of weeks, I think we hit over like 15 million impressions, and we were reaching folks even outside the United States. So many people DM'd us, emailed us from Australia, Canada, the UK, and really expressed that this platform really created a safe space for them and for them to not feel alone. So that was really how Hate is a Virus began early last year, and now it has grown into a 501c3 nonprofit.
That's amazing. Well, thưa quý vị, Julie hôm nay có thời gian nói chuyện với mấy bạn trẻ về có hai cái tổ chức. Một tổ chức là trong thứ Bảy tuần đây, với một tổ chức sau là trong tháng 5. Hôm nay bạn của Julie có thời gian hợp tác nhau nói về thông tin nào mà rất là quan trọng cho quý vị. Đó là chú ý về cái phần mà kỳ thị, mà làm sao mình phải chú ý về cái gì mà nó làm cho mình hợp tác nhau là quan trọng nhất. What it is I was sharing with the audience is that, you know, there's so many things that really divides us that people they focused on that one, but I think what we as a group today are looking at is finding the things that really brings us together. And it could be about cars, it could also be about pets, because I know a lot of people in the car industry, we all love our pets, right? And you know, and when we talk about Hate is a Virus, it's loving our family, our culture, and our roots. So thank you so much for talking about all those points. Now, the next one I think I wanted to ask you briefly is, you know, why is it that you personally want to do this? Has it affected you personally, Sean?
Wow, this is a long story.
Oh, just very briefly.
So to make it very quick, it's just because when I was a kid, and I was abandoned by my parents, and my father was very physically abusive. My mom was actually mentally abusive. So I came here when I was 14 and to live with my mom, and I found out she's actually borderline alcoholic. And then I decided to run away from home when I was 17. From there on, I was on my own. So now, after I have, I'm not wealthy, but when I become more comfortable financially, and that's why I decided to use my resource to able to give it back to as many people as possible. And that has been my mission for the past decade.
Well, thank you, Sean, for sharing your personal story. I know it's very hard. You know, all of us have different struggles.
It's true.
And I think, you know, once we get past our struggle and accept that, we're able to do so much good in the community and to connect with each other. Now, Rob, tell me, what's your personal connection to this?
How do you women, like, how do you top that? I mean,
did you grow up and did you have any challenges growing up?
So growing up, we grew up quite poor. My parents came here. My grandparents came here and worked in the restaurant business. You know, had long hours and so on and so forth. And I just remember, not clearly because I was so young, but we grew up in like Chinatown. And in Chinatown, it was like whatever happens in Chinatown stays in Chinatown. Anything that happens to you or whatnot, it's like, you know, my grandparents wouldn't report to police or whatnot, and you know. At where I am now, it's like I don't particularly feel like I've felt that any hate towards me, and it could be just the time or where I'm at and so on and so forth. But I know for a fact that growing up, my grandparents felt it, my parents must have felt it, and in some ways, I'm sure I did too. I just maybe didn't recognize it, being American born. So when all this was coming to light with, you know, now that we have social media, it really started to anger me. You know, and not to say that I'm comparing or whatnot, but I saw how powerful the whole Black Lives Matter movement was. You know, in the midst of the pandemic, you would see these protests. One in particular that I woke up one morning and I saw on Highland, they had this humongous protest, and I swear I thought it was CGI. I was like, there's no way that there could be this many people protesting in the height of the pandemic on Hollow Boulevard. It was crazy. And again, I'm not comparing and whatnot. But as things started trending and people are getting on board the whole Stop Asian Hate, I was like, well, everyone's hashtagging it, everyone's reposting it, but no one's really doing anything, in terms of protesting or anything like that.
Well, thank you so much, Ralph, for talking about. After the commercial break, we'll come back to talking about more about what some of the events that we're doing and what some of the action plans that we're talking about. Thưa quý vị, Julie cảm ơn quý vị đã tiếp tục theo dõi chương trình Kiến thức y khoa gia đình và xã hội.